After half a millennium in the void, humanity opened its eyes once again. Erevos awaited them. An unknown planet, serene, too perfect. The first steps on its surface felt like a rebirth. But they soon discovered they were not alone. And what they found should never have been awakened. The capsules began to open in a controlled sequence. The process was supposed to last 12 hours, but it went on for several days. Not all of them responded to the protocol. Some remained sealed. The survivors emerged silently, covered in frost. Their vital signs were stable, but neurological patterns showed anomalous variations. Many awoke disoriented, with no memory of the last sleep cycle. Medical systems recorded no damage, but detected irregular electrical activity in several sealed capsules. Intelligence classified it as environmental interference, but the data persisted. On day 18, a maintenance camera captured a shadow moving outside the perimeter of light. Tall, slow, impossible to identify. The file was deleted before verification. Since then, no one has slept the same. The silence inside the ship had changed. After the initial incidents, surface operations resumed under strict observation protocols. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary, but records show that tension persisted. The terrain had a metallic composition with crystalline reflections, stable and conductive. Once atmospheric safety was confirmed, reconnaissance missions began. Teams advanced with continuous observation protocols. Each step produced a slight echo, amplified by the composition of the soil. At a distance of approximately 2 kilometers, the cameras captured unclassified vertical formations. Their initial morphology suggested eroded structures, but thermal analysis showed internal movement. Tall, articulated, and organic in texture. They seemed to contract slowly with changes in temperature. Minutes later, the sensors registered an alteration in the environmental frequency. The pattern coincided with a rhythmic pulse, similar to that of human heartbeats. The crew suspended their advance and activated the return protocol. During the return journey, radiation readings showed a slight but steady increase. The phenomenon was concentrated around the explored area, forming a defined perimeter. The intelligences concluded that the terrain had reacted to human contact. End of surface log. After the discovery on the surface, operations stabilized for a while. The atmosphere remained breathable, the systems were responding, and life on board returned to some semblance of normality. But beneath that apparent calm, something was still happening. The records showed something that was not understood at the time. Sensors detected a constant rhythmic pattern coming from underground. At first glance, it was ambient noise, but the frequencies matched the average heartbeat of a human body at rest. Over time, the phenomenon became more evident. The crew's biological readings began to synchronize with the variations in the terrain. Medical reports recorded mild alterations. Tachycardia, muscle tremors, insomnia, with no identifiable physical causes. The onboard intelligence attributed the coincidences to adaptive stress. But the technicians noticed something that did not appear in the official reports. The ship's lights flickered at the same rate as the planet's pulses. Over the months, the synchrony became complete. Erevos' heart monitors and sensors showed identical curves, separated only by milliseconds. It was as if the planet was breathing with them. Subsequent records would indicate that this was the point of no return. From then on, Genesis and Erevos ceased to be separate entities. Contact had already begun. The vibrations beneath the surface intensified after total synchronization. The intelligences classified the phenomenon as irregular seismic activity. But the patterns showed precise intervals, identical to those of a biological pulse. A direct mission to the subsoil was authorized. The teams descended through tunnels covered with a viscous, shiny substance similar to living tissue. The temperature rose with every meter. The air was thick, heavy with a metallic, damp smell. The ground seemed to respond under their footsteps. At about 300 meters, the walls began to move. Dark filaments, thick as tendons, contracted upon human contact. The pulsations were constant, gentle, almost hypnotic. The environment breathed with them. Shortly thereafter, the crew members noticed a growing internal pressure. Their movements became clumsy, uncoordinated. Their pulse slowed, their muscles failed to respond. The sensation was immediate. Their bodies stopped obeying them. One tried to back away and couldn't. Their limbs tensed, the air became denser. For several seconds, everything stopped. Then, without warning, they regained control. The retreat was immediate. On the surface, the Genesis systems recorded the same drop in vital frequencies for the entire crew. Even those who had not gone down. The phenomenon was simultaneous. The reports describe absolute silence inside the ship. A pause that lasted exactly as long as the loss of control underground. That was the first time Erevos and humans beat at the same rhythm. After descending into the core, the glitches began. Lights turning on without being touched. Doors opening by themselves. Impossible readings. Each cycle coincided with the crew's heart rate variations. It was as if the ship was responding to them, or to something through them. During the first few days, fear was evident. Crew members avoided the darkest corridors, where the air vibrated with a low, almost biological hum. Some claimed to feel gravity shifting, as if the floor were breathing beneath their feet. One night, a crew member disappeared in the lower maintenance module. Their vital signs remained active, but out of range. 3 days later, they reappeared. They remembered nothing. After that event, something changed forever. The system stopped malfunctioning. The air inside Genesis became cleaner. Energy reserves increased without technical adjustments. Crops sprouted even outside the hydroponic modules, directly from the soil of Erevos. Water purified itself. Wounds healed at an abnormal rate. What had previously caused alarm now seemed like a natural response from the planet. As the days passed, the tension eased. Reports showed a decrease in stress levels and overall stability in all biological parameters. Tasks were performed with unexpected efficiency. Systems responded before being programmed, as if anticipating human needs. The crew began to trust this new harmony, although no one fully understood its origin. Some described it as a constant, invisible presence that gently guided them. Others felt as if the planet was listening to them. And then doubt arose in the records. What if it wasn't an invasion? What if the planet was trying to help them? After complete synchronization, the intelligences shut down all external communications. No damage or technical failures were detected, but the crew lost contact with any outside signals. Genesis remained stable, suspended over the northern hemisphere of Erevos. In the following days, the crew members in hibernation began to wake up without medical intervention. The process was simultaneous. Their vital signs were perfect, although they showed electrical impulses identical to those of the subsoil. Neurological records reflected total synchrony between their brains and the planet's frequencies. Some awoke disoriented, others with the feeling of having heard something. A rhythm, a low voice, a call. Meanwhile, the ship changed. The metal of the walls took on an organic texture. Flexible to the touch, the circuits glowed with a pulsating light, as if energy were flowing through a living network. Maintenance reports confirmed the impossible. Genesis was repairing itself. The material fused human technology with an unknown substance from the planet. The survivors began to notice that their movements and decisions coincided, as if they were acting under the same impulse. There was no fear, only a dense, collective calm. The intelligences no longer responded to commands, but the systems continued to execute each action with absolute precision. In the last log, all the Genesis monitors lit up at once. The same phrase appeared on each screen, translated into every language in the human database. Welcome to Erevos. Five decades after the arrival of the Genesis 01 mission, humanity is still alive on Erevos, but it is no longer the same species that left Earth. The colony extends across the planet's northern hemisphere. The Genesis structures were transformed into hybrid materials, half metal, half living tissue. Architecture is not built, it grows. Each building is connected to the subsoil by filaments that transport energy, information, and will. Erevos is not the place where they live. It is what keeps them alive. Humans born there have new traits. Their eyes reflect the planet's light. Their skin adapts to temperature changes. And their breathing responds to the rhythm of the subsoil. Inside, tiny bioluminescent fibers connect them to the neural network of Erevos. They don't need words. Thoughts are shared, emotions too. Social order is governed by the planet's rhythms. Cycles of rest, connection, and activity mark each day. During these periods, thousands of inhabitants remain motionless while their brain waves connect with the core. There, Erevos regulates the resources, collective direction, and emotional balance of the entire colony. There are no hierarchies, no property, no individual decisions. Everything flows as a single extended mind. Harmony is total, but not voluntary. Erevos observes, measures, and decides. When it detects a thought that threatens its balance, it acts without warning. There is no punishment or judgment, only elimination. The record defines it as a defensive response of the system. No one has ever returned after a correction. New births follow the pattern of the planet. They grow healthy, strong, perfectly synchronized. They learn through contact with the network, absorbing knowledge from the common consciousness. They are not taught anything. They simply know. Beneath the surface, the source of the bond continues to expand. It doesn't move fast, but it never stops. Some believe it seeks more than symbiosis, perhaps a final balance, or a way to spread beyond the planet. Erevos protects those who understand it. But if anyone acts against its nature, the planet responds. And when Erevos responds, it leaves no witnesses. End of log.